Hello. We're here. Welcome to the Scale Builders Guild. It's 8:30. It's Tuesday. It's got to be time for Lightroom Live. So welcome everyone. If you can hear me, make sure to put a little comment down there to make sure that everything's good. And we're right on time today, which is also a bonus. You might notice this is a slightly different background, a slightly different location. And this is my main studio in the basement. This is where I do a lot of my editing work when I'm working at my real job. And this is my new PC, which EVGA was more than kind enough to help me set up again, which is pretty amazing. This one is a lot more powerful and a lot more stuff going on the inside to really take advantage of what I do every day, which is film editing. I mostly work in commercials, and I've been dabbling in Photoshop and Lightroom and everything for a very long time. So this was sort of a natural progression for me. I wanted to get away from Macs because I can't afford them anymore. So this is the new PC, and it's running very, very well so far, which is good. Pretty bassy today. Yeah, well, it's probably because that's my voice. So everybody, give yourself a shout out. Tell me where you're from tonight. And I will say that shock pliers are definitely worth it. That's my tip of the day. So I've got lots of great photos to go through today. And I think I've done a pretty good job of getting all the ones that I sent out last week sent out. So all the ones I did last week should have already been sent out, and you should have them in your inbox. So check your emails. They probably came through yesterday or the day before, because I was actually on top of things, which is good. So yeah, that's it. Let's start looking at some photos. Oh, great. Kalkaska, Michigan, Indiana, Australia, good day. Keith from Manchester, New Hampshire, Portland, Oregon, Cincinnati, California, Florida, USA, just USA, okay, fine. Hamburg, Germany, Sweden, wow, thank you for checking in Sweden. Netherlands, Maine, Florida, Northwest Ohio, Alberta, hi Reggie. So let's get right into it. Let's swap over to Lightroom. And here is the first photo we're going to be working on today. This one is from my friend Moose Jaw. And luckily Moose Jaw checked in. I'm glad you're watching tonight. Is your real name actually Joe? You can tell me if it is or if it isn't. Yeah, so real quick on this PC, running the GeForce RTX 2080 Super video card, which has a lot of video RAM, and they optimize some of this software that I'm using for NVIDIA video cards. So very cool that I have that. I'm also running a 360 millimeter triple fan AIO, like an all-in-one cooling radiator unit to cool the CPU, which is pretty neat. Lots of lights and stuff, and there's no real easy way for me to show it to you, but if you were watching the stories on Friday, you would have seen it at the beginning. So anyway, here's the first photo. Yet Josh does call you Moose Jaw. In real life, like he actually says that to you. Anyway, so great photo to start with. It's a Vanquish VS410. Some nice little detail work things happening here. He's got the international badge on the front there. VS410 license plate. Looks like it's on metal, which is very nice. Some additional reflectors and such, which also look great. Hey, my favorite tire. Excellent choice, Joe. Love the background. Love that you've got some nice blurry water feature going on here. Great rocks, lots of texture. This will be a fun photo, but let's start with a crop. Not going to crop it too much, but I am going to tighten it up a little bit. Let's undo that. and keep this as shot. So that way, keep it in the right framing here. I'm not going to lose as much water as that. I just kind of want to center this truck here. But the other thing I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to rotate the frame a little bit. I feel like it needs a bit of rotation. We should turn those notifications off. But what I want to do here is rotate it this direction because I want the truck to feel a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Stance correct. And I don't mind if we're moving the waterfall a little bit because once this is done, you won't even really be able to tell. I think that's probably good right there. Trying to keep within our rule of thirds as well, which means keeping the truck sort of in the center here and the center here. We'll call that rotation and crop done. Wesley, I use Adobe Premiere for all my video editing, and which is great because like all of these programs from Adobe, they're all integrated into one package called Creative Cloud. And say I'm working in Premiere, and then I have something that I need to do in After Effects, like I need to do some visual effects work, or I need to do a rotoscope, or I need to track a camera or whatever. I can just kind of say within my Premiere timeline, I can just go, okay, let's open this in After Effects. And it brings the clip over, starts a whole project there, and allows me to do all my edits in After Effects. And then as soon as I tab back over to Premiere, it's already updated in Premiere, which is amazing. Hello from the UK. Yes, this is the Goodyear Wrangler MTR. And okay, so we've done that rotation, we've done that crop. Now let's start playing with the actual photo a little bit in terms of its actual look. See what we do if we cool it off. We're losing a bit of the density in the golds of the truck itself, but if we go too hot, like too warm, then we kind of lose a little bit of the actual, like the truck kind of sort of blends, because the color, this gold color, which is really nice, it does tend to work a little bit better if you cool it off a little bit. So we're just going to cool it off ever so slightly. Let's put a window on the truck. And actually, you know, what we're doing here feels like it's pretty good. But we are going to boost the saturation, but we're going to invert this so it's only affecting the truck. You can see how that's affecting it now. So we're going to keep that up there. Bring up, maybe lower the exposure ever so slightly. And then bring up the texture, because I like being able to see body panel lines and stuff. And when you bring up texture and clarity, it really enhances all of those edges. So that's working pretty well. Call that specific filter done. Now in an overall, we're going to bring the shadows down. We're going to crush the shadows so you can't see under the truck, and it really brings some more life to these rocks too, and the water for that matter. Let's try using the adjustment brush on the water itself, actually. You can see that I'm sort of painting in some corrections there. And just going to lower the exposure on that so we can sort of get some more texture in that water. Amp up the contrast a little bit too. Lower the highlights so it almost feels a little more transparent or translucent. I guess that's the word. And because it is out of focus, I'm going to lower the texture and probably dehaze it a little bit. Yeah, that's good. We'll call that one done. And then I'm going to do another window just on the grill. And I'll see if I can paint this accurately. All I really want to do is bring up some shadow in there. So we'll do that. It's just about bringing some more detail into that right there. So there we go with that. I feel like this could probably use a vignette as well. Probably heavy for this one. I feel like that's kind of working kind of well. What else would we do to this? Let's bring in a grad along the top here. Just going to cool it off a little bit. And just to give it some sort of depth in terms of its height of the photo. Like that. Now, let's see if we can't bring a little more saturation into these yellows and the gold of the truck itself. Yeah, now we're talking. I did something really similar to this when I was working on one of my VS410 origin photos. I shot it with that really interesting, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's one of the newer Tamiya colors, and it's sort of like a metallic blue. And I went in and I amped up the blue every single opportunity I had. And you can see that it's also affecting the gold rings on these very nice, are those the KMCs or the methods? Those are the KMCs, I think. But yeah, that really helps kind of tie that whole truck together now. It almost feels like it's bursting off the page, actually. So, yeah, I think that's feeling pretty good. If there's any aqua in this scene, let's see if it'll bring it out. Not really much in there. It's affecting the water a little bit. Same with the blues. We can kind of amp that up. You can see it happening in the top left corner of the waterfall. Just kind of a nice little effect. Magentas, I don't think we're going to find anything in there. It ties the room together. Yes, it does, Joe. Yeah, I think that's feeling pretty good. Maybe orange is dialed back just a touch. Same with the reds. I don't want it like crazy. Orange is, you can see it affecting all the rocks and everything. I'm just going to bring that down a little tiny bit. And that feels like a winner. You want to see that full screen? Here we go. And I went full screen just so you can see the truck, not so I can eat taquitos, which is what I'd usually be doing. Tonight was salad night, though. Michael, I don't have any plans for the CR12. I don't have that truck anymore. I think I actually, I can't remember if I sold it or gave it to someone, but it was time for that truck to move on. I have to change out the collection fairly frequently. So that one was one that had to go. Let's do a quick before and after here. Before. Taco salad Tuesday would be good, yeah. And then the after. I think that's good, Joe. What do you think? Everybody enjoying that correction? Intel SM game, yes. I think I've got a rock van on the way. I've got a couple of things coming from Proline in the next couple of weeks. And yeah, I've got some plans. I'm not exactly sure yet what I'm gonna do, but it's a big body. Great improvement. Thank you, David. So yeah, let's call that one and done. So let's move on to another photo. One of the cool things I wanted to show you about the latest version of Lightroom is that if you are shooting with a camera that has GPS, for example, your iPhone or Android phones, I think for the most part, have this capability. You're basically, if you agree to it, you can geotag your photos. So for example, on this next photo that we're going to look at here, from Peak Air, that's his name on the email anyway. We're going to pull this one up. Very cool 70 series. And we've had a couple of 70 series trucks already on the show. But I love these trucks. I love correcting these photos. This is a really neat feature though of Lightroom. If you have geotagged your photo, you can actually see on a map where that photo was taken in the world, which is so super cool. So this one was taken in Miami, Queensland, Australia, right here at this this lookout point, which that is so rad. So it was obviously on the beach, which is pretty cool. We'll zoom back out here. You can actually see exactly where this was in the world, which is so cool. Tell me that's not the neatest feature ever. So cool. And obviously I'm not giving away this guy's home address because that's a public beach, but also a cool feature, really great to see. And just something that I kind of discovered. I don't think this was in the last version that I was using, so very neat to see that. But let's start correcting Peak Air's photo here. Maybe he's watching. It's kind of, yeah, Craig, it's kind of creepy if you were to shoot it in your backyard. And I made sure to choose a photo that was in a public place because obviously I'm not going to share someone's home address or location. That would be very, very remiss. And I wouldn't do that anyway. I'm a good guy. So anyway, on to this photo. Because it was on a beach, and I know that because of where it was geotagged, let's try to make it feel a bit beachy, for lack of a better term. We're going to do a big grad on this one. Moose Jaw, $14.99. Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And thank you for sending me the photo. Thank you for your time and selection. Obviously, great photo. Only made it a little bit better. And I'll be sure to get that back to you ASAP. So first things first, we're gonna, this big grad here that I just placed on it, we're gonna really get some blues into that right there, only because it's on a beach. I want to kind of amp up this ocean look a little bit, so I thought that's a good way to do it. Probably lower our texture values as well. Exposure's already up a little bit. Shadows, we'll dial those in a little bit more. And where's my HSL? Here we go. Just gonna give it some faux kind of blue here, and then call that one done. And I'm gonna pull in another grad from the bottom this time, and this one's gonna be for the beach. And we're just gonna warm it up like that. Maybe we'll adjust how far this goes. Yeah, that's kind of cool, right? So already, big difference. Just kind of brings the photo to life, if you ask me. So let's go in and crop this a little bit. And the only crop, I'm not actually going to crop too much out of it. What I'm going to do is probably just tighten up the whole frame a little bit so the truck is a little more centered, sort of like this. Yeah, Travis, yeah, if you can always send more photos. There's a pretty big backlog at this point, but keep sending them in. I will get to them eventually. Oh, before I do that, crop. I think we'll actually we're going to rotate it a bit too. So let's just do that first. And it's almost like it was shot. It's obviously it's shot from above, and I'd like to be a little bit lower. But let's pretend that this is like a was hoping for a crop. Thanks, JK. Let's pretend that this was shot with like a drone, and it's part of a commercial maybe, and they're on the beach and they're just kind of like going along. See, that to me feels more appropriate. So yeah, let's call that one cropped. Now, there's not a ton of detail. It is pretty grainy, as you can see. But let's try to fix that a little bit just by bringing up. We'll do a window on the truck itself. It's probably a little bit better way of doing this. That's obviously a bit too much because you can really feel the edges of this window. So I'm going to lower our exposure value just a little bit, just enough so we're getting a bit more brightness on the truck. And I'm going to lift the shadows a bit too. And I'm going to bring the highlights down a little bit. And obviously we're going to amp up our texture and clarity to kind of sharpen up the truck overall. See if we can get some dehazing working as well. Maybe a bit more texture. And then because this is a grainy photo, let's use that to our advantage. Right? And by doing some extra grain over the whole photo, now it feels like an aged old photo. And I'll just go full screen for a moment so you can see that before and after. Undo on the grain, and then oops, redo that heavy grain. You can actually really see it. I think that looks pretty good. And then why don't, for fun, if your photo isn't featured right away, you do have to be patient. I'll do my best to sort of get to all of them in time. If the photo is too small or not of a decent quality or something I can't work with, I'll do my best to let you know. I can't always respond to everybody, but I will do my very best. I wonder if, I think a medium vignette is kind of nice on this photo too. Just kind of helps center your eye a little bit. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, it looks pretty good. It's definitely a lot different from the original. Let's take a look at that real quick. And yeah, I think that's feeling pretty good. Here it is again. Like a great, it's an interesting photo, great location, and definitely a nice subject. I love like the little tiny tire tracks and everything. I think that really makes it look pretty cool. But this just kind of amps it up a little bit. So Peak Air, thank you very much for your submission. I think that's another one that we can say is definitely improved, and we'll move on to another one. Let's see. Let's do one. Should we do the one from the actual thumbnail for the video? Let me know in the comments if you think that's a good one to do next, or should we save that until the end? Yeah, in Telsum game, it basically is like a little Toyota ad, isn't it? You could put the, like, they always had really interesting sayings on their photo, or on their like ads, on their print ads especially. All right, thumbnail photo. I think we're getting a few votes for that. Why not? So here it is, Kevin Norlander, who I think was watching earlier today. I'm not sure if he's still watching. But this is a great action photo, and when I saw this one come in, I was like, oh yeah, this is high on my list of priorities, because it is cool as. It's really, really nice. It's a good photo. It's hard to capture action like this if you're using a point and shoot or like a mirrorless camera like I use. There's usually a preset for a high frame, what's it called? High shutter speed. And that's what you need to capture these moments. You need a nice big wide open lens that allows a lot of light in, and it has to be shot at a very rapid shutter speed, so like 1/1000th of a second usually, to get this kind of motion frozen in time, basically. Yes, this was the thumbnail for tonight's episode, so let's get to it, because this is awesome. I love slinging mud. I don't do it very often, but I really like to see it. So I'm just going to do some quick, like, little kind of adjustments that I like to do, and I'm bringing up the shadows pretty dramatically here because I want to see more mud around the wheels there and the tires. That looks like a VS410 bumper. I wonder if this is a VS410. Kevin, if you're watching, let me know in the comments. Texture is definitely going to get amped up because you can really start to feel those mud splatters when you do that. It actually kind of helps enhance what's really interesting about this photo is sort of the background here too. I'm not sure what camera it was shot on. I don't think I have that information available to me. Maybe I do. I can't remember where it would be. Anyway, but you can see the kind of the weird kind of blurriness, but it's also got a nice texture in it. So yeah, bringing up that texture kind of adds this really cool effect. And definitely clarity too. You can see the change that clarity makes, right? It's one of my favorite things about these tiny trucks is that sometimes because they're small, the detail and the panel lines and grill detail and stuff isn't always the greatest, and it's just because it's small. But when you amp up the clarity in a shot or the texture in a shot, either of those two values, you kind of bring some of those edges back, and it makes it feel a lot more realistic. So yet another great way to make your tiny truck feel like a big truck. We're definitely going to window the truck itself. Just pull this one in here, something like that. And I've already, like, it's just the value is already like plus 1 on the exposure. You can see how that changes there. We're going to do like 0.70. And we've already amped up texture and clarity of that truck, so I'm not going to do too much more. You can go crazy with the sharpness and stuff, and it really affects things. I don't love messing with that too much. It does give it a different look. We are going to amp up saturation. Temperature I'm going to bring down a little bit. I'm going to make it cooler because I really want to enhance the blue in the truck. Like you can see as I go warmer, you start to get this kind of weird kind of mud look. Not quite right, but if you go cooler, you keep that mud, but you just give the blue a bit more room to breathe, and then it becomes a center point value for you to kind of look at with your eyes. So I'm liking that. I think that's good. These headlights, these are Power Shift RC ones, I think. I'm just gonna warm those up. Oops, didn't mean to do that. I meant to invert it first. Just gonna warm them up because these old Defenders don't have, well, unless you like do like an aftermarket change, they're not gonna have like HIDs or xenon. Xenon? Is that what they are? Xenon bulbs. Anyway, they're gonna be like a traditional old school incandescent. So you're gonna make them nice and warm like that, and maybe even lower the exposure a little bit. up the saturation, and maybe we'll dehaze just a touch. I don't know. Yeah, let's dehaze it a little bit. I know this is like one tiny little detail, but details matter, and details is what we're all about, right? We're all about building tiny trucks and making them look as real as possible. So why not make your photos look and feel as real as possible too? Oh, my eye is so itchy. Allergies are bad today. Thing about slinging mud is you need the facilities to clean up after, and plenty of surplus bearings. That's totally true. I remember for my first TRX4 Defender video, I went to Headquake's house, and I'm sure you all know who Headquake is. He's got an area, obviously he's got his area at his house, and then across the street from where he lives, there's this really cool stream that kind of develops out of a spring out of the ground. And it's always really muddy, and that's where I was like, let's shoot the Defender video there. And of course, I almost smoked the motor on the first day because those brushed motors do not like mud. Anyway, moving on. Josh, that's a good point. Step 1, drive in mud. Step 2, sell truck. Don't even clean it. And I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't clean it. I know you. You would probably just run it and then sell it. As is, put away wet. I'm just adding some vibrance to really make this mud come alive. We'll maybe even see if we can't amp up some of the yellows and the oranges there as an overall, just to really make that kind of come to life. But maybe we'll change the hue of it a little bit so it feels a bit like gloopier. Yeah, maybe somewhere in there. That's pretty cool. And then greens, I'm going to bring the greens out because I find that grass down there ever so slightly distracting. Yeah, somewhere in there. For sale, washing machine not included. Yeah, exactly. That's feeling pretty cool. Let's vignette it. Medium is good. Yeah, I'm digging that. That looks pretty good. Oh, one thing I wanted to do is pull the reds down a little bit, because I know it's a small thing, but this winch hook makes me crazy. So I'm just pulling it down a little bit. It's not so much that it's going to affect anything else, and there isn't much else that's red in that frame, so I think we're good. Notice I did not need to crop this photo. It's a really nice wide kind of photo, and I'm really glad Kevin sent this one in. Let's see a little before and after on the full screen, which, man, that looks so cool. I love photos like this. I find these difficult to take because I'm usually out by myself. So it's like one hand on the camera, one hand on the transmitter, and just kind of I smash that exposure button and just hit as many shots as I can, and I'll have like 400 shots when I get home, and then one will be good. But to get a shot like that, totally worth it. I'm really happy you sent that one in, Kevin. Thank you so much. I cannot wait to send it back. Here is the before and the after. So you can really see that I've kind of brought a lot more texture and life to that mud. This also kind of feels like a Land Rover ad, and you could definitely see this being a print ad too. That might actually be a fun challenge for me to take some of these photos and kind of create print ads based on the actual ads that would have existed at the time. That might be something I do. So yeah, definitely a good one. Thank you very much, Kevin, for sharing. That's a good one. Yeah. I have a Sudden craving for Nestle Quick. All right, let's choose another photo. I think I'm going to do Craig's photo here of his rattle can drag car, which I'm going to guess was paint with a rattle can. Oh, Moose Jaw, yeah, of course you would like a White Russian. The dude abides. Man, the rug tied the whole room together. Now I see why you said that earlier. Anyway, Craig, thank you for your submission. I wonder, yeah, painted with a rattle can, but I bet you he painted that rattle can with a paintbrush. Only the best Tamiya cans. Well, that's a lot of high quality paint you wasted. Fox Body, yes. Who makes that? Is that J Concepts, or is it... that's not Proline, is it? I think it might be Proline. Prove me wrong. What are we going to do to this? So, Josh, you do like a good paintbrush paint job, don't you? J Concepts does make it. All right, I was wrong. Not Proline. Don't be offended, but I'm getting rid of that building. I'm going to try to anyway. I don't know how much I can get rid of. Not very much, but that'll have to do. What are you hoping for? Let's do sort of a even more dusky night. Eh? Huh? Yes. Good idea, Matt. Thank you. Oh man, that's pretty cool already. Huh? Yes. Love how I'm like looking for approval. More light? No, less light. I wonder if I can do... Yes, I can. Actually, no. I'm going to do it a different way. I don't want that. I want a paintbrush. I'm going to do big swath of that. And I'm just sort of like trying to make that a little less distracting. So much light that I couldn't tell the difference between the photo and the sun. SFL, I don't know how the YouTube interface works well on the phone because I'm usually doing these while I'm live. So I don't think you can move the chat around. Maybe you turn the phone? I don't know. You could try that anyway. There. Now let's go into here in this area here and really amp up those colors. For all, I'm just gonna pull a window around our car so we don't affect, oops, so we don't affect too much of anything else. Where's the rotate? There you go. Nice. Beep. Yeah. You can see I'm tinting into the magentas, so we're getting a lot more of that sky. It's going to be a pretty dramatic photo by the end of it. Really gonna make it feel like you can see that rattle can paint job. We're gonna just kind of change the hue of that red a little bit too. You can see, because of the way Craig painted it, you can see where it's a little bit lighter than in other parts. So we're going to try to bring some of that luminance down a little bit just to help it out. Maybe we'll toss a window over it again, but just on the car this time. It almost feels like it's been lit by these overhead lamps now. It's sort of the feeling that I'm getting from it. Yeah. That looks pretty cool. Yes, I got my hair cut by a barber. Very safe, careful barber. And thanks for noticing. All right, so Craig, here's the before. Oh, let's go full screen. I really like what's happening in the sky. I think it sort of says, you know, you've had your race day. You clearly kept it rubber side down. It's a Saturday night race pick. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the look I was going for, Joe. Thank you for putting it a lot more eloquently than I was. There's the before. You can tell the sun was obviously behind the car. This is a lot like the honcho from last week, where it was backlit. And here's the after. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. So, Craig, thank you for your submission. I'll be sure to email that back to you as soon as humanly possible. So probably next week. But now you can, has anybody actually posted these photos to their Instagram feed yet? And if you have, be sure to tag the Scale Builders Guild in the photo so I can see the kind of response those photos are getting. I'd love to get that feedback and also see that you're sharing them. So, so yeah, please do that. It actually spent a lot of time on the roof. Yeah, my drag car should just be on the roof all the time. I'm in the process. Tekin sent me one of their RS ESCs. I'm going to be swapping that in because it needs to have a censored setup. The sensorless Firma setup that I tried to use just wasn't effective off the line. There was no way to keep it under control. So brushless censored is the way to go. And I feel silly for wasting my time thinking otherwise. All right, let's do another photo. How about a truck? Gotta love them Chevys, man. I should be wearing my Chevy Ford shirt, my Chevro Ford for this one. He's got all the right Chevy logos on there, though, and this looks like an Alberta plate. Wild Rose Country, I was right. It is an Alberta plate. So, Dwayne Vleeming, thank you for your photo. This is going to be a nice one. What a beautiful mountain range. I bet you that this was... Could have this been in Kananaskis? Man, I hope he's watching because I'd love to know. Because it's gorgeous. What a great location. So let's start playing with this one a little bit. I feel like we're really going to want to amp up these rocks and maybe this big rock in the background. What a great sky, though. Let's see here. It does feel like it should be cooler instead of warmer. Warmer just feels wrong to me. So let's go a little bit cooler. Let's pull these highlights down a little bit so we can really amp up that sky. Cole, if you want to submit a photo, you send your photo nice and high res and as big a photo as possible, and send it to submissions@scalebuildersguild.com. It should be in the description down below if you need a link to it. Where was I? Shadows. Let's pull those down a little bit. Whites are okay. I don't want to go too far there. Contrast-wise, I feel like I could use a little bit more. And then my favorite, presence. I love presence. A little bit of clarity too. And then let's pull a grad into this sky. Nice big fat one. Yeah, that feels pretty good. It's a nice looking truck. And the crop is pretty good. I don't think we need to do too much to it. So let's just kind of make this truck pop off the page a little bit. And you know, you can do it two ways. You can use this radial window here like this, or you could go in and actually like paint it. But if you feather it, then you don't really need to worry too much about the actual edges because it just kind of feathers. Hey Mark, it's going really well. Thanks for asking. I hope you're having a good Tuesday evening / afternoon, depending on where you are. So we've given this inside window a little bit of exposure, just a boost, so it feels a little more in the foreground. You can see, like, shadow wise, I don't want to go too far. I'm just going to go full screen for a second here. I don't want to go too far because what happens if you go too far is that it starts to feel a little unrealistic, right? Like, how is this truck so bright? And I mean, yeah, if the sun, which is obviously over here, oops, if the sun is over here, which it would be, probably not going to get that much light over here. It would be mostly shooting at the truck over here. So that's why I don't want to overdo it with the exposure. Oh, what am I doing? Something different here. There we go. So we'll give it a touch more shadows, or a touch of lift in the shadow, but not too much. Wait, I think this is affecting another window. There we go. It doesn't seem to be updating. Weird. Oh, it's just feathered very much. Okay. There we go. Crisis averted. I just want to give it a bit of a boost. Oh, Mark, you should ask Josh to help you paint your house. It's about the same amount of effort he puts into painting his trucks. And the same brush size. All right, that's a good one. Let's bring some of that green in the background. Because I like what's going on back there, and I would like to sort of pump that up a little bit. Pump you up. Same with our aquas. You can really see it sort of affecting this bit of the water here. The more you play with this, the more you bring in some of that color. Now, I'm not going to do the same with the blue, because that's going to affect all the blues in the sky, and that to me just looks kind of like 1950s postcard, and it doesn't look right to me. Just kind of looks a little artificial. Some people I know have done some pretty good hydro dipping, actually. Mark, pardon my noob, Richard, he did a really cool kind of 80s inspired, that shirt that Josh has that looks like one of those cups. I forget, there's an Instagram account that uses that pattern. Anyway, it looks a lot like that, and it turned out pretty neat. So one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my brush, adjustment brush here, and I'm going to obviously make this smaller. I want to just paint in some details on these rocks, like on the highlighted sections here. And all I'm going to do is just amp up my texture and clarity to really kind of make it pop off the page a little bit. And then I might even amp up the saturation in just those areas too. And you can see how that's changing everything too. You can even go in and cool it off if you want, or warm it up, cool it off if you wanted. Just a subtle adjustment though. Like, the more subtle the better, in my opinion. It's just like bringing some warmth over there. And yeah, that looks pretty good. I don't think I would do too much more to that one, actually. Let's take a look full screen. And there's the before. Just a great location. It really, just a few little corrections here and there just kind of really bring it to life. 80s convenience store soda cup. That's it. Thanks, Mark. The Heartbeat Tough Ford Chevy shirt is only available in black or white. Yes. What other colors would you want it to be in SFL? You can always add more colors. No, hydro dipping doesn't scratch off easily. It's paint, right? So it scratches off like paint would. All right. So before, after. Yeah, Joe. We can crawl that one together someday. All right, so there we go. Another one done. So thank you, Dwayne, for sending that one in. Let's go polar opposite. Let's do something a bit warmer. Oh, what a flare. What a great lens flare, huh? Look at that. Hi, Dandy. I always have a cat coming to visit me. Or the dog. I wear that Ford Chevy shirt a lot, and I get a lot of weird looks from people. They don't know what to do. Like, but wait, do you like Chevys or Fords? So this feels like a really cool, like this is a really cool photo, and it speaks to the Land Rover heritage again, just like that mud shot. This almost feels like the African savannah, like they've gone on a super long adventure, and it's kind of rolling hills, beautiful hot sun. I know, this is an awesome photo. Hopefully I can do it justice. Thank you, Indra, for sending this one, Indra1609. Thank you very much. No geo info on this one, so we're just gonna have to guess, but it looks awesome right off the bat. No need to crop it. Really great composition. Just really nice, everything about it. I love this lens flare. It's really, really great. Right off the bat though, we're gonna warm it up a bit, make it feel really hot. I wonder if this might be an opportunity for a preset. Oh, I didn't import all my presets on this one. So why didn't I do that? Silly, silly, silly. Anywho, let's see what we got. Warm shadows, that's probably a nice start. It's actually like kind of burning my retinas. It's so warm. But I like it. It's a good start. That feels a little too cool, but still warm. You know what I mean? That's kind of nice. Warm contrast. You know what? Let's do it ourselves. It's always better when you do it yourself. This cat might have to come up on my lap. All right. Let's lower the exposure levels just a bit. Amp up the contrast. Because you see what I just did there, right? It really kind of makes you feel all those grasses around it. It's like it's so scale accurate. I love it. Except for the big Traxxas logo, but you know, it is what it is. I like this rooftop tent too. That looks like it's an actual functional rooftop tent. Is that what? It's ARB. I wonder if this is an RC four-wheel drive product. I don't know. Let's pull some blues in, see what it does to the skies overall. Not much. There's a little bit in there, but not a ton. But you can see that it's affected it up in this corner over here. Man, oh man, I don't really want to do too much to this. I actually really dig it. I think if we increase our shadows, that might help it feel a little more dramatic. Maybe something like that. That's going too far, obviously, but you can see what I want to try to do, which is just kind of make it silhouette. That's not... I don't know. Have I gone too far? Is this too much? Is this too much? Did Intigi make a rooftop tent? This might be too much. I'm going to dial it back. I want to see the truck. I think brighter actually might be better. That way we're not losing detail back here, because this stuff is cool. Yeah, let's do a grad just for fun, but it's not going to be a heavy one by any means. It's just like you can literally, it's just pulling in a little tiny bit. Like, see, you can see how much blue there is. But I just kind of want to do a little bit. In fact, I might rotate this one around a bit and pull it over here. Just so it's like maybe not affecting the sun so much. Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah, I don't want to mess with these greens too much. Okay, that's feeling pretty good. Wesley, this is a program called Lightroom Classic. It's it's the desktop version of Lightroom that is made by Adobe. Let's see, what else? Just pulling down those reds a bit so they're not like super like in your face. Hi, Fred. Oh, you're in the hospital. I hope you're okay, man. Yeah, this is a pretty good photo. I don't really need to do too much to it. Let's see a full screen of this. Man, this might be the photo of the night. I thought that other Land Rover photo might be it, but This is pretty good. Oh, Craig, you bought that camera. Good for you. It's a good choice. I have the A6500, and I just got the ZV-1, which is a little pricier than the RX line, but it's basically the same camera. But I hope you got a used one. It's a much better value now that the ZV-1 came out. And notice I said Z instead of Z. Did that for you guys. Let's see a before and after here on Indra's photo. There's the before. Like I said, it's not a huge difference, but it's just sort of amping it up a little bit after. Before, after. That one's great. I really like that photo. Yeah, thank you very much for sending that one in, Indra. Awesome sauce. That's great. Let's pick another one. Which one should we do next? So many to choose from. Oh, I think this one. Let's do a Jeep. Just do a Jeep. All right. Who likes TJs? I know I do. Is that a TJ? Yes. So I have a funny story about TJs. When Richard and I were out last at AAOA, which is the Anthracite off-road adventure area in Anthracite, Pennsylvania, we were doing some off-roading in our Jeeps and FJ Cruiser. Richard's got an FJ Cruiser, which is, well, had. That's a story for another day. Anyway, we were going through this really tight area, and you had trees on both sides, and it was a bit, dicey for the long wheelbase unlimited that I have. He was doing fine, but then this guy rolls up in a TJ, and he gets out, and he's got a whole bunch of friends in like JKUs behind him, and he goes, "Oh, how you guys doing through there?" And we were like, "Yeah, it was all right, not too bad." And he goes, "Well, I'm just cheating in my TJ." I was like, well, that's the line of the weekend. I thought it was like the perfect way to describe a TJ. It was like, yep, you're totally right. That is it. Anyway, this kind of feels like AAOA or Roush Creek, Pennsylvania. There is a geotag on it, but I'm not going to look at it because I haven't checked it first, and that would be bad. Yeah, we're not going to give away where this guy lives, but very nice little TJ. This is the New Bright TJ. These are really hard to find now. Yeah, hang on to this truck if you still have it, because Just RC sent this in, and yes, Joe, that is 100% going to make it on the list for the next set of bumper stickers. I've already got some good license plate ideas too. So yeah, let's get on this one, because this is a good looking photo. Hi, do you want to come up here? Kitty cam. No, you don't want to be up here. Okay, see you later. Ah, just my Hamburg, Germany. Wow. Hamburg, Germany doubles for Pennsylvania, everybody. So there you go. Thank you very much, Just RC, for sending it in. It is a really great photo, and it's a really nice little TJ. Got a great truck there. I am curious to know what platform that's on. MST, maybe? Tell me in the comments. Yes, now hit the like button because there's a cat. It is MST. Ah, I feel so smart. It is a good wheelbase for an MST, so good choice choosing this truck body. It's a good looking little truck though. Nice paint job. Very good license plate. Roll over. It's good. I like everything about it. Nice job. Give that touch more blue. Let's do that effect where everything except, oh no, that won't work because the sky. Oh, well, no, we can make it work. We can make it work. Yeah. I like the little scale detail work that you put into this too, Just RC. You've got the antenna and nice looking light bar and some recovery gear and some dust. Like it just kind of feels real adjacent. So actually, instead of that, just delete that. I think I'll use the brush tool instead. And I'm just painting in the blue there. And I'm going to amp up saturation. Oh, why is it affecting everything? That's weird. Oh, because that's an overall thing. Okay, never mind. Do it here instead. There we go. Sorry if I'm quiet. I'm concentrating on this one. I want to get it right. Real Jeeps don't have square headlights. That YJ is unforgivable. I'm joking. I don't care. What to do? Let's do a little HDR on this one. I think it kind of deserves something a bit fun. HDR, of course, is where you kind of ramp everything up. But we're going to turn the vibrance down on everything, make this kind of dramatic. Yeah, that's already feeling cool. Maybe it does need a bit of a crop though. Instead of keeping it original, we're gonna go custom on this crop. What? There we go. I'm gonna make it look like it was shot by somebody on the trail as they're going by. Yes. Now you don't really have a sense of how big the truck or how small the truck is. This is a great example in terms of composition and stance and driver in there, which is great. It would have been cool if he was maybe a touch bigger, but I'm not going to be picky because everything else about this photo rocks. It's a really great photo. It just feels like a real truck. Flip it upside down, put a bumper sticker on it. to do my headlight trick here, because TJ's definitely had how's that gonna work? Let's do it like that. I'm cheating. I wonder if there's a pen tool. I guess I could use the brush, but you know what? That's fine. Yeah, that already looks pretty cool. I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna do much more. I did hear about the 392, and I heard about it from Josh, because he's still teasing me with the idea of him buying a Gladiator, which he should just do. Like, get over it already. So there's a after. Let's do a before. After. I guess I could pull some saturation out of the reds, yeah. There. Before. After. I think that's a winner. No, Craig, Josh wants a Gladiator, the new Gladiator. And this isn't a Brute, this is just a regular everyday TJ. Just no top on it. So yeah, I think that one's good. Let's move on to another one. No, I'm kind of trying to keep this muted, Ron. The idea is to kind of make it feel as if it's really dusty kind of day, and there isn't a lot of what's it called, saturation overall. So it's a look meant to look a certain way. So I think that's pretty good. What time is it? 9:45. Oh, Wesley, I would recommend the camera that you have is probably a good start. Even your camera phone, your regular everyday smartphone, is a great place to start, especially if you're just getting started on YouTube. You don't need to have the best gear. When I started, I think I shot everything with, I don't even know if it still exists anymore, but it was like a little tiny handheld pocket cam style thing, and it worked great. You use what you've got, and then if you like it and if you start to develop a following and you want to put a little more of an investment into it, then that's what you do. Don't ever start with the best gear and work your way into YouTube that way. Start with what you have and see if it's really even for you. Matthew, videos on mounting bodies is not really a universal subject. It's different for every single one that I've done. So I could try to put something together in terms of a video for mounting bodies, but it's so specific to whatever body you're using. So not really something I think I would be able to do that would be universal and help everyone, but it's certainly something I will think about. So thank you for the suggestion on that. Sorry, there's a bunch of questions coming through. I just want to get those kind of taken care of. JK, how many submissions have you received? It's definitely over 100. I think it might be close to 150, maybe 200. Yeah, that's probably how many. Stabby Josh, hey Matt, I'm going to Axial Fest Thursday. Should I take the DSLRs or stick with the phone and action cams? I mean, if you've got room, I would take the DSLR. I mean, the best camera you have is the one that you have with you. But DSLRs are always better. I mean, I don't technically have a DSLR. Mine are all mirrorless cameras. Yeah, I try to bring them whenever I can. That's partially why I got the ZV-1, because its form factor is even smaller than the A6500, and it has basically the same guts as the RX line, so it's pretty decent camera. It just doesn't have interchangeable lenses. It does have a optical zoom, so it's good for this hobby especially. Kaisun's RC, if you ever watched him on YouTube, he shoots everything with an RX camera. So yeah. This photo looks like how Schultz drives. Yes, it does for sure. So Stabby Josh, I hope that answered your question. I would definitely take your DSLR if you've got room. Yeah. This was shot on an iPhone SE, people. So it just goes to show you, you don't need to have an amazing camera to shoot really great photos. The iPhone SE has a good camera in it. Ryan, I'm not really much for comparison videos or reviews of like multiple products in one video. I don't have that sort of level of interest. I mean, tires are so specific to the location and place that you use them in, so it's kind of hard to say what tire is best. There is no like easy way to do it. I mean, I've thought about it, but I'm not really, my first goal isn't performance, so I'm not really the guy to go to for that kind of review. If you want a review on a product for its intended use, and how they work in terms of my preferences, then that's a good reason to watch. But yeah, comparison stuff is difficult. Yeah. Brazen, yeah, send me what you got, man. I'd love to see what this truck is all about, what Metal Masher is. Oh, it's a Metal Masher Yoda. Oh, yeah. Dude, I forbid you from driving that at Axial Fest. Actually, it's in Indiana. You're probably fine. Craig was asking what chassis is under this. It's an MST, probably their short wheelbase one. Is the dog here? Alexander? Where'd he go? Did he go back upstairs? Probably went back upstairs. Oh, here he comes. Come on down here. Come down and say hi. Jump up here. Jump. No, up here. Up here. Come here. Up. You can do it. Yeah. There he is. You're on the TV. So dignified and proud. Don't kiss me on TV. Don't do it. Okay. There he is. Say hi to everybody. You big silly goof. Thanks for the visit. All right. Back to work. We got work to do here. Okay, I'll see you in a bit. I like the puppers. Man, you're a good dog. You want to lie down here? Okay. Yeah, no PDAs allowed. All right, 9:49. Let's do at least one more. Let me see if I can find something cool. Ah, another Jeep. Yes. This is from Bo Inabnet. Bo and Abnett. There you go. Looks to be a brand new SCX-10 III JL. I know that because it's got a portal axle under it. I wonder if he's got a hobby wing set up in there. Probably. Nice looking photo. I like these ones. We've been doing a lot of these sort of like rear end. A lot of we've been looking at a lot of rear ends tonight. But what I like about this one is that it's sort of another one of these let's go off and explore, and it's got a good look to it. So let's start out. I like the color combo too, like this teal color, or I think this is pretty close to bikini, which is an actual color name from Jeep. Bikini. Doesn't really make any sense because, never mind. I thought it was going to be like, when I heard they were doing a color called bikini, I actually thought it was going to be like polka dots. Like that's where my head went instantly. I was like, oh, okay, that'll be interesting. Leave it to Jeep to do something like that. Okay, so that's probably good. I'm just trying to get some of this tree out of here. Wesley, for video editing, for film editing, for my job, and for all the videos you see on YouTube, I use Adobe Premiere. I used to, when I started 20 years ago, I was on Avid, and then I went to Final Cut Pro, and then they ruined Final Cut Pro, and I went to Premiere, and I'm happy I did. I kind of like the white balance as shot, so I'm not going to mess with that very much. I put a tiny bit more blue into it overall. Yeah, not too much. I'm going to just undersaturate the reds a bit. Bo, you forgot to put the stickers on the tail lights. For shame. Hey, look, an SBG sticker. I just saw that. Nice. All right, I'll forgive you not putting the stickers on the taillights. Maybe they fell off. That could be. Hey, it looks like you painted that on the outside, as you should. Well done. Oh, hey, Bo, you're checking in. Thanks, buddy. Shot on a Canon Rebel T6. Very nice. You know I'm just playing with you, man. But I do like the color. Good color choice. Very, very nice. And a great location, too. Not geotagged, so I'm not going to ask. Looks like you've got some nice foreground grasses happening there too, which is great. I'm just going to pull the shadows up a little bit and I'm just going to desaturate, or at least underexpose, the diff cover so we can't see too much of the red diff cover. Hey, anybody who's asking, you can use RIT dye to dye all these red parts black. Chezum from Testers, eh? I don't know what that color looks like. Let's throw a nice... ooh, I wonder... No, let's not do black and white. What a waste of time. Shot all this beautiful background and go and ruin it with going black and white. Silly. Vibrance. Yes. Saturation. Not too much. Somewhere in there for our tint, just +2. Oh, Mark, yes, okay, yeah, I remember now. Thank you very much. Yeah, I think I gave you some tips in that thread, in fact. Now, luminance-wise, I'm going to play with the greens a bit and really kind of see if we can't bring some more life to them, just texturally. You can see that if we dial the luminance down, it actually, you can see edges a bit better, and I just want to kind of highlight those little bits and pieces there. Same with the oranges and the yellows in here. I want to bring those up. Oops, that's in the luminance. So I should undo, undo, undo. Saturation wise, pull up the yellows and the oranges. And hue, I'm going to play a bit in here. And you can see what I'm doing here is I'm changing the greens a bit to make some of these other trees feel a bit different. So there's a bit more variation. Here, I'll cut full screen so you can see that. As I roll this slider in, this is sort of as it was shot. And then that's kind of going into the wrong direction. But if I pull some more yellows into the greens, then you get a nice separation, you get some nice variation in some of the leaves back there, and it just kind of makes it feel a little more textural, a little deeper. And of course the truck becomes more of the focus that way. So we're going to leave that. Matte black, coral blue. Coral blue. Who makes that coral blue, Bo? Is that Tamiya or is it Duratrax or Spazstix? Jared, yes, it's always new submissions. I don't repeat photos. So if you haven't seen your photo yet, I just either haven't gotten to it or there was something technically wrong with it when it came through on the email. Oh, it is Tamiya. Okay. Oh, did you say Cobalt? Yeah, okay. I've used Cobalt a ton. It just like had a momentary lapse of memory there. But yeah, that's an excellent color. I used it on my Dancing Rider most recently. I will say that even though EVGA helped me put together my other streaming PC and they helped me put together this PC is ever so slightly better in terms of the performance, and I spent a little bit more on the processor and a little more RAM, and the video card is like basically top of the line from EVGA, and it just does wonders with the speed and the efficiency of this machine. I'm kind of like a little bit blown away actually by how great it is coming from my MacBook Pro, which was brand new last year, which is crazy. But it's just so much better to have like a dedicated video card, a dedicated computer that sits on the desk that actually can handle this stuff and do it so quickly. Lightroom is a pretty CPU and GPU intensive program, and I haven't really noticed any slowdowns at all. So from that perspective, building your own PC rocks, and I definitely suggest you do it. If you've never built a PC, it's actually pretty easy. I'm also using this RTX audio software. What's it called? RTX Voice, I think is what it's called. RTX Voice, yeah. And it sort of is supposed to help cut out some of the background noise and everything. So hopefully this is a nice clean. I tested it a little bit before I went online, so I hope it's working out. I hope it sounds good, because there is a lot of background noise. I've got a dehumidifier and my air conditioner running, so I hope it's making it sound good. Okay, back to this photo. I keep kind of forgetting what I'm supposed to be doing here. But yeah, let me just let me take a step back and take another look at it here and see if there's anything else I should do. I really love that there's all these greens. I think it's a really great shot, and it's so complementary to this blue color that Bo chose. So yeah, I don't think there's much else I want to do. I think I've kind of done quite enough. Let's go full screen and do a little before and after here. Before and after. And I've definitely taken it more into the bikini world than the cobalt world. You can see it is definitely cobalt, and I don't know how I forgot about that color, but definitely more cobalt than bikini, but quite bikini now. Ah, that's great. The only thing you can hear in the background is clicking of mouse and keyboard, or cat meows and dog claws. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, this is really, really great photo too. I think we've had a really great string of submissions, and as you can see in the timeline below here, there's still a ton that we didn't even get to this week, which is crazy. There's so many more to go, and so many more that I still have to pull in from the email. So yeah, we're gonna have to have like a marathon next week maybe, and get through like a dozen instead of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that we did this week. Maybe we'll do, you know what? Let's do one more, and then we'll call it a night. Okay. Which one should we do? So many to choose from. I feel like if I did another Jeep, I would be, I'd be overdoing it. So maybe let's. Oh man, there are some good Jeeps in here though. David Crabtree sent me a nice Jeep. David Crabtree sent me 2 nice Jeeps actually. We can't do a Jeep though. We've got to do something else. Let's do. No, let's save that one. Let's do this one. It's a Toyota. Okay. So great foreground, great background. Let's do a quick crop on this one. Let's do this like what can we call this? The speed round. We'll call it the speed round. So I'm just gonna like blast through these as quickly as I can. Rule of thirds. Exposure looks pretty good. Let's pull a grad in up here. And darken that down a bit. Throw a vignette over the whole thing. This should definitely be grainy because it is an old school Land Cruiser. Vignette for fun. Let's go into the hues of the yellows. See if we can find somewhere in here something. It's tough because that truck is so orange. This one comes from Steve Chong, by the way. Thank you, Steve, for your submission. It's a Toyota fake Jeep. FJ Cruisers have been around forever. But yes, the fake Jeep. FJ series Land Cruisers have been around forever, since the 40 series. Let's do like a... There, let's make that more of an orangey... This is a Harley truck. That looks like it's a TRX4 Sport. That looks like a TRX axle housing. And those are those OT6 wheels, right? This speed round isn't going very well. I'm not being speedy enough. also going to try defocusing. So that's the only thing in focus. Ish. Sort of like a fake focus window. Here, I'll go full screen so you can see that. That's kind of fun. Oh. There's probably a man outside. Did I already put a vignette on this one? Yes, I did. Okay. Let's do a rotation. We'll constrain. There's a tip in here for you. Whenever you do a massive rotation and you get to like these big white blank sections here, you have to click this constrain the crop, so that way it maintains the actual. Were you guys able to see that? Let me undo and redo that here. So that's not constraining the crop. You can see that it's going outside of the thing. And constrain just brings it back in. So you can rotate as much as you want. It'll just keep zooming to keep that constraint. I'm actually doing this to just kind of make it feel a bit more dynamic. I think that works. And yeah, I think that'll do it actually. It's a lot different from where it was, that's for sure. There's the before and after. I like it. I think that's going to do it. Josh, when it explain what speed round means. It's when you take 3 hours to 3D model a welder. Yeah. All right, let's go through all the photos we did today, starting with Moose Jaw Joe. Full screen for fun. A lovely VS410 with my favorite tire on there. Okay, there's my favorite tire for whomever was asking. Hey, Changi, you got to check in and got to see your FJ. That's great. So I like this tire because the lug spacing is nice. It's asymmetrical, so they look weird when you put them on properly. The tread depth and pattern is great for a lot of different terrains. It's nice and tall. Oh, Changi, thanks for the $5. Very appreciated, my friend. Thanks for sending in a photo and giving me something fun to do on the last one there. You'll get another look at it here at the end. And of course, I send all of these to everyone afterwards, watermarked with the SBG logo. Please share them on your Instagram or your Face blog or YouTubes or whatever it is you're socially mediating. Yes, that's why I like that tire. Great detail on the treads and good sticky compound with the X2SS or the X3SS or whatever it is from RC4WD. Okay, so that's our first photo there from Moose Jaw. Before and after. And I probably won't be able to remember the order we did these in. I'll do my best. The next one from Peak Air. Very cool photo. It's like you can hear the voiceover now. When you're traveling across the beach in your Land Cruiser, you know you'll make it through. I mean, it's just a beach, but there's the before and after. Video, you should have. If you didn't, ask me. And it's usually in the bottom right corner. And then we had one from Dwayne Vleeming. Very nice background. I don't know what looks better. Before, after. And then I think we did Craig Thompson's rattle can, which looks pretty, you know what, I'm pretty happy with that one. That looks pretty good. Before, after. Ah, you did. Okay, good. And then from there, I think we went to cheating in my TJ. Before, after. Very nice, Just RC. That might be the photo of the night. It might be either that one or Indra's photo here, which is equally very nice. Before, after, just a subtle correction on this one, but man, what a great photo. Everything about that just screams adventure. Really love that one. What else? Which other ones do we have? Oh yeah. This very nice JL from Bo. Before, after. And then finally, Steve's photo right here, which I think I brought some kind of interesting look to. Before and after. So there we go. You know what, guys? I'm with everybody. I think that's the photo of the week. Oh, the muddy TRX4. Oh shoot! Thank you for the reminder, Josh. There's that one there. Before, after. It's driving moistly. So I don't know. It's either this one or this one, I think. I don't know. I'm really on the fence this week. They're both really, really great. Why don't actually, instead of writing it in the live chat, put a comment in the actual comment section once this is done, and tell me what your favorite is. That's a great way for me to kind of do it, and then maybe we'll, like, you know, there'll be a prize at the end when this series ends or whatever. I don't know. We'll figure it out. So yeah, I think that's it for tonight. I think we got some cool photos done. Everyone's submissions were really great. Cheating in my TJ might be the winner, I think. Yeah, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. I hope that this new studio look is okay for everybody. It's not tiny truck related so much behind me, but this is really more about photos, and this is an easier place for me to do this because I can stare directly at my screen and the camera's just right here, so I don't have to do this the whole time like I was doing in the other room. But that has been fixed as well, and you'll get a better idea of what's going on tomorrow night when we go live with Ding Dong number 2. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope this was informative and educational and entertaining at the same time. So that's going to do it. We'll see everybody tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. And thanks again for watching. See you soon.